Okay, so in today's video, I just want to talk about ball position. I think ball position is actually an important thing to really understand, both in the immediate term and also in the long term. So on the channel, I've often talked about a couple of things. One, your ball position should be relative to your low point, and two, you should try to progress your golf ball further forward. And in this video, I'm just going to elaborate on the couple of mistakes that I tend to see with students. And like I say, what happens when I'm working with the golfer is you'll create maybe a long-term plan. So that golfer, and that doesn't mean loads of lessons, it just means so we both understand the direction that that student wants to go into. Now, there will be periods where that golfer might be playing okay. So they might come in through the door and he goes, I'm a 16 handicapper, I want to get down to 9, but I'm playing okay. So you work on some technical things that will help him improve, him or she improve to advance to that sort of level of golfer. But what might happen along that journey is things might go slightly off. And one of the problems with a lot of amateur golfers is contact, particularly when you go out and play on the golf course. So I think the first thing that I really want you to understand is if you are looking for some help in the immediate future, so you're looking for help right now with your contact, the first thing that you really need to be doing is thinking about the location of the ball position. So we know, ideally, for a mid-iron, okay, you'd have the ball position either centre in the stance or slightly towards your lead side by an inch or two. That would be your sort of, traditional. But what happens in most golfers that are struggling with ball striking is the club tends to come down sooner. So by the time your club head actually reaches the ball position where you have it, the club is rising up. Now, when you're playing a game of golf, you don't have repetition time. You don't. You might hit a shot and you might have to wait another 5 minutes or so before you get the chance to hit another one, unless you hit a really bad shot, and then you might have a more frequent visit to the next shot. But you get my point. You're never going to be able to build up this sort of routine as you could when you go to the range. So the first little tip is, if you are getting bad results on the course, move the ball relative towards your low point. So if you're noticing the way the club is striking the ground towards the back of your stance, then really what you want to be doing is positioning the golf ball in towards the back of your stance. Okay, so you want to locate the golf ball further back, because yes, you might not really want to do that. And I'm not saying that you want to be doing that on the long term, but what that will do is that will get you around that golf course, and it will help you out at least get decent contact on the back of the golf ball. Now, the other thing to understand reference ball position is the club swings on an arc. Okay, so if you position the golf ball theoretically further back, you've got a better chance of the club head striking more on the inside of the line. So equally, if you're somebody who's a little bit slicey and a bit this way, actually moving the ball back might be a good exercise to give you the feeling of swinging back and then dropping your arms down to help you change the club path. Because it's much easier to swing from the inside and hit a draw, actually, if you put the ball further back in your stance. If I put the ball in the further back of my stance and somebody turns behind the ball and they sort of hang back, it's much easier. So remember, that's a short-termism. But if I was playing golf with John and we were about to go and play at a pro-am or some sort of event together, and he can't hit the golf ball, he keeps hitting the top of the ball, that would be one of the first things that I would be saying. So why would you then want to get out of that? Well, for a few reasons. The problem obviously is if you have the ball permanently further back, you're always going to get caught behind the ball and get quite stuck, and you're going to lack movement. So one of the reasons why on the video I tend to encourage golfers to have the ball further forward is because it encourages you to find a way to travel with more linear motion, so you move more towards your left side for a right-handed golfer. The benefit of this is speed and sequence. The other thing that happens is, one, while the club would be moving quicker, so you can find a little bit of easy speed by progressively moving the golf ball further up. But also as an exercise, if you started to advance the ball position further and further outside your foot, it's a great way to encourage students to try and find shaft lean. So if I've got a golfer who comes in for a lesson like this, then one of the easiest drills to do is to encourage them to move the ball further forward, because they have to find a way to hold on to shaft lean and to accelerate their hands much further forward. So what I'm hoping you'll get out of this video is understanding that it's okay to make alterations. So if you're having golf lessons and you know that the coach is giving you the right tips and advice, but you're struggling to transfer it to the course, then have some short-termism in there as well, whilst you're developing behind the scenes down the range. But where you do want to be is progressing to a traditional ball position or slightly left, One, because it will enhance your technique, help you produce more rotational and more linear motion and get more shaft lane and get the hands further forward. But also it's better practice for the longer clubs as well. But I'm just helping you understand that, there might be a few of you out there that will feel quite relieved to know that actually it's acceptable to move around with the ball position, shall we say, depending on your form. See you soon.